each enlightened being, whatever their manifestation, also remanifests out in a physical environment. That physical environment is a place that is very easy for people to do Dharma practice or to take rebirth. So what that means is that is called a pure land. Whether it's Amitabha's pure land or Lama Tsongkhapa's pure land or Vajrayogini's pure land, all these kind of enlightened beings have their pure lands. And what the pure land is a place where getting things to survive and to eat and to function and to get teachings and practice and support and psychology and physically, it's very easy for people to practice Dharma, and the reason for that is for them to gain enlightenment much quicker to benefit others. For example, hypothetically, it would be more easier to practice Dharma in Malaysia as opposed to a place where it's filled with tsunamis and earthquakes and no medicine and no electricity and no clear running water. It should be hypothetically more easy to practice here because we have everything that we need. It's very convenient. So similarly, Malaysia compared to a few places in the world is like a pure land. To be reborn here would need good merits. Why? Because you have a good life. Things are easy on a relative level. So similarly, if we were to be born in a country that's full of wars and fighting, or natural disasters and earthquakes, volcanoes, and places that have tsunamis, or a lot of floods, or places that are filled with disease, or not easy to get food, or no clean water, instead of talking about practicing the Dharma, hypothetically, we'll be worrying about how to survive and stay alive, and not get sick and earn a living. Most of our time will go towards that. But in Malaysia, when all these things are much easier for us, hypothetically, we have the time to concentrate on spiritual practice. So like that, this is like kind of a pure land. So the Buddhas have even higher pure lands than this, better pure lands than this, that if we make a connection by practice and prayer to them, we can take rebirth in these pure lands. When we take rebirth in these pure lands, what's the benefit? The benefit is that Dharma practice will be much, much easier. Okay, now, many of the pure lands are on different dimensions. Many of the pure lands are different places and different dimensions. But there is one particular pure land that is on this planet. And it's in our hemisphere. It is on our physical location. And it's called Shambhala. And Shambhala is a pure land that is said to reside within the Himalayan mountains. That people who have a very strong karmic affinity can see the place and locate the place. Some people can travel there astrally, but some people can actually travel there physically. Just like the Western Hollywood pictures have picked up on this existence from books or whatever, and they call it, Journey to Shangri-La. They had a very famous book out, a famous movie about that. I think you might have seen it in black and white, Journey to Shangri-La. I saw it. Where these people were explorers from America. They crash landed in the Himalayas, and then they were looking for survival, and they were taken to Shambhala to survive, and they woke up in paradise. It's like that. In fact, the leader of the group was supposed to take over from the Lama who was dying, to be the next spiritual heir. I know many people must have seen that. I saw it. I forgot who it was written by, because I was a kid when I saw it. But anyways, it's something like that. And there are people among us today, even in our center, who physically can see spirits. I've talked to them. They can actually see them and perceive them and communicate with them. So my point is, most of us cannot. It's not a better or worse situation, it's just a fact. So my point is, some people can see, but the people cannot see doesn't mean it doesn't exist. For the people who see, it doesn't mean that that's the only existence. There are many other types of existences. So Shambhala is a set of teachings that Shambhala is a place where it resides in the Himalayas, because the Himalayas are hundreds of kilometers of tract of land that it's untrackable. It's too big and vast. Just like the oceans, there are many parts of the ocean people cannot go. It's too deep, too dark. It's existing now, even without technology. So like that, the Shambhala is a society and a community that lives, it's a kingdom. And what happens is they have a ruler. The ruler is the kings of Shambhala, and they're called the Rigdens. R-I-G-D-E-N, the Rigdens. The Rigdens are the kings of Shambhala, and they're very special because the Rigdens, I don't know the name and time at that time. During the time of Lord Buddha, went down to India, left his kingdom, went down to India with his entourage and received teachings from Lord Buddha. Series of teachings. So some of these teachings that he received, or one of the teachings that the king received was called the Kala Chakra set of teachings. The Kala Chakra is associated with the highest yoga tantra of meditation to transform one's mind and body constituents into that of an enlightened being. That was taught directly by Shakyamuni, who took on the form of Kala Chakra deity and gave the complete set of initiations and teachings to the king of Shambhala. So the king of Shambhala took these teachings, went back to his kingdom, and practiced and attained it. And what he did is he taught it to his consort, his wife, the queen, the Sakyong Wangmo. He taught it to his queen, he taught it to his sons and daughters, he taught it to his kingdom. So he not only became a secular king, he became a king also of teaching Dharma. So he served two functions. He became the guru of his society and also the spiritual king. So when he passed away, he passed that one to his son. His son passed it to his son up till now. We are at the reign of the 21st Shambhala king. During the time of the 25th Shambhala king, it is prophesied, will come out into the world to teach and spread the Dharma. So one of the reasons His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama travels around the world and graciously and kindly gives the Kala Chakra to teachings is to empower and bless and prepare for the coming of this king. Alright? So people who teach the Kala Chakra teachings or talk about Shambhala and give this enlightened society philosophy to others are ambassadors of the kings of Shambhala. Ambassadors means what? They represent Shambhala and they prepare the people for the opening of Shambhala in the future. So what happens is this is Chögyam Trungpa, according to the book, is one of the ambassadors of Shambhala. So it's like we have the Malaysian embassy in Singapore. The Malaysian ambassador in Singapore is equivalent in Singapore to our Prime Minister. Meaning what? They must show the same respect because he represents our Prime Minister. So how they treat him and what they say to him, what they do to him is representative of how they treat all of us. So like that, he's our ambassador of Malaysia, but he's not Malaysia, but he's the ambassador. But the compound he lives in is Malaysian soil. Similarly, there's ambassadors of the enlightened kings of Shambhala. The enlightened kings are very dense, and their representatives are lamas around the world who teach Dharma, who prepare people for enlightened Shambhala conduct. So one of them is Chögyam Trungpa, and what happens is that in his Dharma society, he has modeled the assistants, the liaisons, the people, and the organization under the model of Shambhala society. So he himself has become like the king or the ambassador representing Shambhala. His queen is called Sakyong Wangmo. Wangmo is female power holder. So what happens is what it is that he gives these positions to people so there's an enlightened order so people know what their function is to operate in a Dharma center. That's on one level. Another level is when he gives you that name and he gives you that position and you carry out your position well, it blesses you to actually take rebirth in Shambhala to be those people in the future. And that's what it is. It's on two levels. So people are asking about Shambhala earlier, they're asking about the position, they're asking about his wife, the significance. I'm explaining it now. Okay? So what happens is, do we want to take rebirth in Shambhala? If we can, why not? But in our organization, we have the equivalent. Our organization is modeled under Kechara paradise. And our leader, and our ruler, is female, is Vajrayogini. Our leader, and our ruler, and our king, and our queen is Vajrayogini. And the paradise we wish to ascend to is not Shambhala, not that there's nothing wrong with it, but our paradise is Kechara paradise, the paradise of Vajrayogini. And our practice and what we do here is representative of Vajrayogini's paradise and what we want to attain there. So in their society, Shambhala, in our society, it's Vajrayogini. But once they become Kala Chakra, once we become Vajrayogini, it's equal one. Vajrayogini Buddha, Kala Chakra Buddha is the same. Exactly the same. So that's what I modeled our organization under. That's what I aspire us to do. Why? I feel Vajrayogini will be even easier to attain than other deities because she's the deity of desire and lust and attraction, which is what we are overwhelmed with in this life. So their leader is Kala Chakra, or represents Kala Chakra, the Rigden kings. Our leader is a queen, Vajrayogini. Is there any difference? No. A Buddha is a Buddha. Their society they wish to be reincarnated in when they die, perhaps, is Shambhala. Our society which we wish to be reincarnated is Kechara paradise. So there's no difference. It's just a model that we live our life under. So in the end, in our organization, what we get is Vajrayini's initiation, Vajrayini's practice, Vajrayini's abhisheka, Vajrayini's meditation, so that we can achieve Kechara paradise. To take rebirth there. Kechara paradise can take rebirth within ourselves, which means enlightenment, or we physically take rebirth there. There's two types. Inner and outer. Okay? So I think I explained about the questions earlier that you guys had about Sakyan Wangmo, which he gave positions and names in order to plant the seeds for them to become that being. And also a physical example of a model to follow, kind of like a hero, kind of like a role model to follow how they should live and how they should be. Okay? Any questions about that? Good. That was pretty simple.
Sorry, I just speak. So you were saying that we can, with regards to the child paradise, we can take rebirth into child paradise, which doesn't mean that we're enlightened.
That's right.
And we can continue our journey into child paradise.
We continue our journey there after we are enlightened. We leave and we go and benefit people. We don't stay in paradise. Once you're enlightened, you're alright.
You come back.
You can come back. You're supposed to come back.
That's a choice.
No, it is a wish. It is a wish. To attain paradise, to attain Vajrayini's paradise, you can't be praying that you can escape. You'll be praying that you can become enlightened to benefit others. So, in order to activate that prayer, you get reincarnated there to fulfill your wish to be enlightened. To wish to pray there in a Judeo-Christian sense, where I go to a paradise and sit as the right hand of God and I'm happy. That's not the cause for us to go there. Why? The cause for us to go there is selflessness, not selfishness. To go there to have a good time with yourself, or to have a good time full stop, is not a cause to go to a paradise. Why? If that was the cause for us to go to paradise, we would be in paradise now, because we're always wishing good things for ourselves. We've been wishing it lifetime after lifetime. So if wishing for ourselves good things and ourselves only is the cause of going to paradise, we would be in paradise now. So therefore, it leads us to logically believe that wishing paradise for others is the cause to get to paradise. Then you say, but isn't that a psychological trick? Of course it is, if you think that way. It's a trick to Buddhas. Pretend to want to help others to get there. Of course it is. But that's not the motivation we're supposed to have when we pray to go there, is it?
So what happens if ultimately everybody gets enlightened?
Ultimately what?
If everybody gets enlightened.
That one I don't know. That's a very tough question. I guess we all hang out in Vajrayini's heaven and have a good time. Really, I can't answer that right now. Because that's so far away. It's incredible.
It's not prophesied by the Buddha.
No, as far as I know. Because it's too far away. It's too far away, and Buddha cannot prophesize what you're going to be in the future, way in the future, because that's up to you right now. He can tell you what happened in the past because he can see it's been done. But he can tell you ahead like that, because it's very nearby. Example, I can prophesize to you that after dinner you're going to be very full. Why? It's very nearby. So if I know you're allergic to onions, and I give you a lot of onions, I can prophesize you're going to be in the toilet after that. What my meaning is something very logical, and I can see. But when it's too far away and it's still not formed yet, it's very hard to prophesize. Even for ordinary beings with highly evolved, that's a good question though. Even with ordinary beings with highly evolved lamas. Highly evolved lamas, right? The lamas can only tell you a certain thing that might happen, but there can be different roads. If you go this way, become like that. Go this way, become like that. That's why they teach the Dhamma to avoid. Then we can go to the Christian sense. When everybody gets to heaven, then how? When everybody gets to heaven, what do we do? That doesn't answer it either, does it? I mean, really, I'm not being cocky here. I really don't know. You got me. But in a Christian sense, once we all go to heaven, what happens? There's going to be a time we all get up there, right? I mean, the Earth will blow up one day. A meteor will hit it. It'll become too old. Life will stop as we know it. And animals can't get to heaven. Animals don't have a soul, according to Christians, right? So according to Christians, animals don't have a soul. They don't go to heaven. So when all the humans are dead, eventually they will. There was a time there was no humans on Earth, right? So what happens? It's a very good question. We're going to have to pose that. I've asked that before to my teachers. If we all become enlightened, we're all up there. He said, don't even ask about things that's not even in the near future. I said, but give me an answer to this. There's no answer because it's not there yet. It's too far away. Too far.
So does that mean that, because I understand that there will be 1,000 Buddhas in this...
Even after 1,000 Buddhas, not everybody will be enlightened.
Oh.
Definitely not. And what you see now in this planet is just one small dot in Samsara. There are trillions of other beings existing. Trillions of other worlds. That's what Buddha described. Actually, by science they say that. They give some kind of statistic like there are possible to have 3 million life 3 million or something like that planets out there that is possible that has life. That's sustainable IRL. So they gave some kind of estimate based on something. I saw it on Discovery and I was like, 3 million? You know, possible. And in other dimensions. Do you believe there are other dimensions? Do you believe there are many other planets with people living there? Beings?